Hello and welcome to Real Books Don't Have Batman. I'm Frank Duran.
I'm Deshawn Vasquez.
And today we're talking Burton versus Nolan. Who made the better Batman?
Anyone but Schumacher.
Ah, that's a very good choice. Hello and welcome to Real Books Don't Have Batman. We are talking Burton versus Nolan. Who's the better filmmaker? Who makes the better Batman movie? Which do you prefer? So we're start at Rob down here.
I'd go Christopher Nolan.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I think he's a better filmmaker in general, and I feel like I could walk away from seeing one of his movies and have a lot more to talk about it with, you know, the story of Batman and then his, like, hidden themes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. John?
In terms of the better films, it's definitely Nolan. I think he crafts better films than Tim Burton does. But I really do like Tim Burton's first two Batman movies. I really do. I think they're fun. They certainly capture the spirit of the Batman comics from the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whereas, now it's, Batman's considered sort of more grim, and everything like that. So Nolan sort of captures that. But I think both are fine, but I give Nolan the edge.
All right. Chris?
I have to deny both and go with Bruce Timm, the animated series.
I don't think anybody's going to argue with you.
I can imagine. I think Burton, at the time, yes, his films may have been true to the comics, but now you look back and they are cheesy, they're horrible. The first one, in my opinion, is the only good one. Mm-hmm. And then Christopher Nolan took a beloved character, a great detective, and he turned him into a street brawler. Mm-hmm. There's almost no detective work at all in Nolan's films. He makes Batman much more of a fighter and takes away the Batman aspect and gives him more. I don't even know who to compare it to, but he takes it away from Batman's Batmanness with the fighting and the lack of detective skills, and he does a very good job on the fear factor from the Batman. I'll give it that, but other than that,
I mean, no one's going to argue with Bruce Timm nailed every part of Batman. I mean, Bruce Timm and Kevin Conroy is Batman for me. Like, as much as Christian Bale's great, and so is Michael Keaton.
What about George Clooney, Frank?
We're not talking about that. That's another debate.
I love nipple suits.
We need bat nipples. Andrew?
I'll drink some of that Kool-Aid, but in terms of the actual topic, I'm going to have to slightly side with Burton, but I love both of them. I just prefer Burton a little bit more.
All right. Deshawn?
I would side with Bruce Timm too. As far as writing goes, I would side with Nolan, but I think Burton gets a little more of the aesthetic right.
Yeah.
Like when I picture a Batman comic, I picture more on an aesthetic from like Batman 89.
Yeah. My favorite film, of course, is The Dark Knight. So it's really not... I really can't debate it because I really think The Dark Knight is a masterpiece. And
would you say that if you had a chance, would you suck Batman's dick?
I would suck Batman's dick. Right. I mean, if Batman was like, "Hey, I need to save the world, but somebody needs to suck my dick first," I'd be like, "I'm your man." And then
is it a bad time to mention that Dawn has a Batman costume?
Yeah, a really bad time. But I feel like the
I got nipple suits.
But I feel like The Dark Knight is so well done. But I mean, I love the Burton films, but they do one thing that really makes me go, what is that? Batman just shoots people in that and kicks people off buildings. He just randomly kills people in that movie.
Which one?
In Batman 89. Does that throw you guys off?
Not me, because the first thing that ever introduced me to Batman was the first Tim Burton film.
So you just thought Batman was a cold-blooded killer? And he was
I was just like, as a kid, I didn't care. I just wanted to see him kick some ass.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but there's one scene where he's in the Batwing, and then it goes above the clouds, and it stops in front of the moon for 5 minutes. Even as a kid, I'm like, really? Do I need that?
That's such classic, comic book Warner Brothers goodness.
Yeah, it's totally that. Yeah,
I like it too.
Yeah, you wouldn't see that.
It is
even
ridiculous.
If they were trying to make a film of the same aesthetic, you would not see that in a movie today.
I mean, by all means, Tim Burton's great for campiness. It's a comic book movie. It's over the top, but I just want to watch a good film.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
I think I mean, I really like Batman Begins. I really like Dark Knight Rises, and I love The Dark Knight. But I really like the '89 Batman because I think it has a very satisfying conclusion, which a lot of Batman films actually don't have.
No, they're kind of just like, and here's the sequel. And
because
even The Dark Knight Rises has a terrible ending.
The Dark Knight Rises was a terrible movie.
That's not true.
No.
but
It's a post-apocalyptic movie featuring Batman, and it's not a Batman movie.
Yeah, but there's so much to that movie. Like, they put in the Lazarus Pit.
Yeah.
You know, and that was
metaphorical
cleverly. Yeah,
Lazarus
because it's like,
pit,
it's
and it was
impossible.
ingenious.
It's impossible to actually bring in a Lazarus Pit without people going, I don't know what the fuck's going on, dude. You know? So it's just like a tip of the hat to him.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
even that really corny, oh, you should go by your first name, Robin. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't actually put on the spandexes, run around as the boy
Mario.
wonder, you know? I'm fine with it. So
It's
I thought
true.
it was done very well.
Well, I think I like about the Nolan films is that it examines Batman from a perspective of that Batman is a really fucking bad idea.
Yeah.
That being Batman is not a good idea. It's not conducive to healthy, relationships. It's not actually going to save the city. It makes things worse. The whole idea of escalation from Batman Begins is really the theme of the trilogy, except that Batman never actually wins until the very end. Like to win, he has to basically destroy Batman.
Yeah, that's a very cool theme. Like, I thought of it that way, but I mean, it's very interesting that it does escalate until all of Gotham's taken over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's important. Now, the question I gotta ask you guys, would you guys watch a third Burton film? Like, if he was like, I want to conclude my Batman trilogy, and like, it was back then, and he just did a third film, would you guys want that third film, or...
As a kid, yeah.
At the time,
even to this day, I still wonder how like Batman Forever would have turned out if Burton had directed it and Michael Keaton hadn't come back.
It's true.
We probably would have had what's his name? Colt 45. Shut up.
Sorry.
Lando Calrissian?
Yeah, we would have had Lando Calrissian as Two-Face, and that would have been awesome.
Ooh, that would have been sweet. Yeah, they dropped those
He is-
seats.
Yeah, as Two-Face.
They
Yeah, it
do.
would have
Well,
been
did you
something.
guys know that he was supposed to be in Batman Returns,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they rewrote him to be Max Schreck? And when Catwoman does the thing and electrocutes him, that was going to give him the Two-Face look.
Ooh.
But
I would have liked a Christopher Nolan Two-Face. I mean, Christopher Walken Two-Face. That would have been sick.
Wow.
Like, oh, wow, I'm gonna
Let
kill
me
you.
flip before I decide.
Heads or tails, Batman. It's just like,
So
No,
this is like
Mike
the
Coy.
bad Christopher Walken impression.
yeah.
Those were all awful.
Terrible.
Yeah.
We're not Christopher Walken. But I mean...
or impressionists.
Yeah, no. We're podcasters. That's why we're here.
All right, about a third Burton movie. I mean, his first two just really captured the feel of that time, as we were saying, and the comics. And it's very theatrical in how he portrays it. Like, it's a stage, his use of shadows, the backdrops, how you can tell they're fake, but who cares? It looks really cool and artsy.
Yeah, German expressionist.
Yes,
Almost.
and I would love to see another Batman movie like that, but it will never happen.
Oh, no, not after the Nolan films. I don't think anything like that could happen again.
I wouldn't say
Yeah,
that.
I wouldn't rule it out because I think the next time they do like a full-on Batman movie, not the Superman versus Batman thing, but when they do a full-on Batman movie, I honestly think it's going to be more stylized than the Nolan films because they realize they have to set themselves apart.
Yeah.
Because if they do just another Nolan film but without Nolan, people won't go. People won't be happy.
Well, it's you have to look at it as a business at this point because now they want Justice League. They need that money. They saw Avengers and they're like, shit, we missed the boat on that one.
Yeah.
So the next Batman is going to be really campy probably because they need that. They're going to try to step away from Christopher Nolan, maybe have that little edge to it because they realize people liked it, but it's not going to be good.
Yeah. I mean...
So you might see something towards, like Tim Burton's campiness.
I feel like Returns is that perfect combination of over-stylized and also dark. I mean, Batman Returns is kind of like really messed up. I mean,
it also started a weird trend of like having multiple villains if you really think about it.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Batman Returns is that it's not really a good Batman movie. It's a good Tim Burton movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it just happens to have Batman and Batman characters in it. I love the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think calling it like a definitive Batman movie, I'm like, no, it's not, because if you want to call any of Burton's films, I'm just spitting everywhere. If you want to call any of the Burton films
like
definitive,
it. Keep going.
it would probably be the first one, the '89 one,
Yeah.
because that's definitely more of a Batman story than it is anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and also Burton's sort of to blame for the whole trend of like villains are more interesting than the hero in
Yeah.
movies, like specifically. Like even Nolan fell into that trap once he got to the Joker.
Yeah, it's true. Now I have to ask the question starting from down there. Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson? And Mark Hamill's not in the argument here because, of course, Mark Hamill wins.
Because that's cheating. It's too easy.
I don't know. I grew up with that Batman '89 Joker. I mean, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? I've known that line since I was like 8. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was he was a spectacular Joker for the time,
Yeah.
for that movie. And then Heath Ledger, while I'm not a giant Nolan Batman fan, I will say Begins and Dark Knight were great movies. They missed something in Batman, and in that they missed something in the Joker. What they did with that is they tried to make it relevant to today, which they did a good job of, but they also tried to make it too realistic. And they didn't explain the Joker. He was just this madman. At least, in the '89, they tell you what happened, why he wears the makeup, all this.
I don't know. I think that's ingenious though, because it's like, yeah, you say they're bringing it back to reality with Christopher Nolan. It's like, if you look at today, there's so many crazy shit going on. We're being attacked on every kind of front by crazy guys on the street to terrorists over country, So, and you don't know a thing about them. They're just these madmen attacking us. So it's just ingenious to put that into a Batman movie. People are going to, it's Batman. It's a campy movie. We're going to step back from reality. It's like, I think we have too much of that. So I'm happy that Christopher Nolan brought that reality to it. Because it's like, I'm being entertained, but I really need to have a discussion about this.
And I think it's interesting, people often will throw realistic at the Nolan films as almost an insult.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're too realistic. But, like, you have them, like, the first one's major plot point is a microwave emitter that evaporates water instantly, which, what? And then people are like, oh, the Joker's too realistic. And I'm like, he can gather hundreds of barrels of gasoline into 2 separate buildings, and no one fucking notices? No, he is, like, chaos incarnate. He's like, they open Pandora's
He's a force
box.
of nature.
I really loved the Heath Ledger Joker because it did how I always thought of Joker in the Batman animated series or anywhere else, is that he's a freaking terrorist, and no one treats him as a terrorist. Everyone's just kind of like, oh, it's that villain. But no, he blows up entire city blocks. He gasses half of Gotham City. This man's one of the worst terrorists of all time, and they just kind of let him walk around. And that's what I loved about the Nolan films was like, no, this guy's hiding, and he's popping out whenever he wants to, and it's not like they got to treat him as a major disaster instead of just like, oh, it's just a dude in the makeup. Like
Batman will punch him, and then we'll put him in Arkham, and then he'll be back out next week.
Yeah, it was more like, no, this is a terrorist. I mean, he even proves it at the end with the 2 boats, which if we're talking realistic, that's the most unrealistic part of The Dark Knight. It's like 2 boats full of explosives. Like, no one checked these boats. It's past 9/11 now.
That's another thing. Who the hell keeps living in Gotham? In each movie, it's like we've been gassed. We've seen the worst nightmares. We got fucking Bane running our country. It's like, why do I live here?
Hey man,
Yeah,
this is not
I would rather live with
really
Superman, At least I could run for Superman. I could see him coming,
Fuck, get out of the building.
Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine being the guy who's like watching the news, flipping to the channels, and you just see Bane. It's just like, oh, I love Gotham.
It's like, shit.
God damn it! Why didn't I move last month?
It's true. It's like, I mean, in Metropolis, it's terrible to live at, but I mean, at least you're like, people are like, hey, Superman and Zod are coming. Oh, we should evacuate. Like, Joker's kind of like, hey, I gassed everyone, and Bane's like, I took over while you guys weren't paying attention. Like, I mean,
Over the last month, I've been putting my blood in your water supply. You're like, oh shit,
we're all dead. Like, it's terrible to live in Gotham. I mean, I bet it's cheap though. I bet it's like, I mean, Boston's kind of expensive. I mean, I'm sure Gotham, they're like, you want $300 for this really nice apartment? I'd be like, hell yes.
It ain't hardly had no
Also,
murders in it.
I know, and only 1 murder happened here.
you're 2 blocks away from Joker's new hideout. So just letting you know.
just letting you know, the Riddler kind of runs down your alley once in a while, but you know, he's harmless. But
Just don't insult his intelligence.
Should
Don't-
I be worried
don't let him
about
stop you on the
Deadshot
street.
the other building. over
yeah,
there?
I think I see Deadshot. Like, I don't know. Gotham's full of too many villains to be able to be like, I can live here safely. Like, but in the end of it, you guys all kind of prefer Nolan films.
I prefer Nolan films, and as for the Joker, I think they're two sides of the same coin. I think Nicholson captures like theatricality, and I think Ledger captures that like anarchist in him.
I
You
still
guys?
side with Burton.
Still side with Burton.
I can't choose between the two.
So Bruce Timm.
I grew up on.
I'm
the
sorry.
Evans.
I watch good films, so that's why I'm siding with Christopher Nolan.
No,
I'm just fucking.
That's fine. The Bruce Timm thing, I think that's where I suggest they go with Batman.
Yeah.
The future is look at the animated series, look at Bruce Timm, look what he did, and even some of the stuff that he wrote for the comics, and sort of lean it towards that for the next movie. Because
Yeah.
I think if you go that, because that's the perfect blend of like comic book.
Adaptation
weirdness,
and-
and then you also got a little bit of realism. Bruce Wayne's a much more realized character in that. You could probably make a really good movie out of that.
Yeah. Thank you guys for
Just kick the
tuning
best.
in to our Burton versus Nolan.
Watch the animated series.
Yes.
Burton.
So
Learn to watch good movies.
Yes.
Wow,
So,
just go
I
for
mean,
it.
we're all excited for future stuff, but thank you guys for tuning in, and you can decide for yourself and comment down below for what you think is the winner.
And like
Batman and Robin is the winner.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, obviously.
So stay
one
cool.
line.
Schumacher wins. we didn't even put him in this debate. We should have been like Schumacher, and then all right. Thank you guys again. See you later. Hey, thanks guys for watching, and please, if you like it, please subscribe. If you're interested in watching more episodes, click here. And then also, at the end of our whole season of Webisodes, we're going to be talking about Identity Crisis. You can click right here on the book to be able to buy a copy on Amazon. We are not licensed by DC or anything like that, so don't talk to us. But yeah, read this so we can talk about it at the end of the season.